There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that no one is coming to save them. No hero, no mentor, no miracle is going to suddenly lift them out of their circumstances and deliver them into the life they dream about. It's a hard truth, but an essential one, and it is the foundation of self-reliance. We are living in a time when the urgency to become self-reliant has never been greater. Systems we once trusted are wobbling. Guarantees we once believed in are falling apart, safety nets are thinner than ever, and in the middle of all of this uncertainty, one thing remains true. The only real security you have is the strength you build within yourself. Self-reliance isn't about rejecting help. It's not about closing yourself off from the world or pretending you don't need anyone. It's about understanding that the primary responsibility for your life rests with you. It's about not outsourcing your dreams, your success, or your happiness to the hands of someone else. When you internalize this, a shift happens. You stop waiting, you stop making excuses, you stop blaming other people, circumstances, or bad luck. Instead, you wake up every day knowing that your life is a direct reflection of your choices, your mindset, your work ethic, and your resilience. Think about how often we are taught to look outside ourselves for answers. We are told from a young age to listen to authority figures, to seek validation, to follow instructions. And while guidance can be important, it becomes dangerous when we never learn to listen to our own voice. When we are constantly looking for someone to tell us what to do, we lose our sense of agency. We become passive participants in our own lives, swept along by whatever current is strongest. Self-reliance demands that you become the captain of your own ship. That you learn to read the stars when the map is unclear, that you develop the skills to steer through storms without waiting for a rescue boat that may never come. And make no mistake, it's not easy. It's a lot easier to point fingers. It's a lot easier to say, I would be successful if only someone gave me a chance, or I would be happy if only people treated me better, or I would chase my dreams if only I had more support. But every time you say, if only, you hand over a little piece of your power, you build a prison out of excuses, and before long you start to believe you're trapped. Self-reliance smashes that illusion. It says maybe things aren't fair, maybe it's hard, maybe no one is going to hand you anything, but you still have the power to choose, you still have the power to act. The truth is, life respects the self-reliant. The universe responds to those who move with conviction, who take ownership of their path, who bet on themselves even when the odds seem impossible. There is a different energy around people who refuse to be victims. They inspire trust, they attract opportunities, they forge paths where none seem to exist. It's not because they never fall, it's because they refuse to stay down. They have trained themselves to be resourceful, to adapt, to build and rebuild and build again. You don't need to have everything figured out to start. You don't need to be the smartest, the richest, or the most connected person in the room. What you need is the willingness to take radical responsibility for your life. You need the courage to ask hard questions, to face uncomfortable truths, to do the work that others avoid. It means educating yourself relentlessly. It means investing in your skills, in your character, in your mindset. It means learning how to solve problems instead of running from them. It means becoming the kind of person who doesn't wait for permission to improve their life. And here's the thing most people don't understand. Self-reliance actually creates more meaningful connections, not fewer. When you become self-reliant, you don't approach relationships from a place of neediness. You don't latch onto others, hoping they will fill a void inside you. Instead, you bring your full, whole self into every interaction. You are able to give more, serve more, love more, because you are not constantly trying to extract something from others to feel okay about yourself. Self-reliance isn't isolation, it's the foundation for healthy interdependence. In today's world, waiting is dangerous, waiting for the perfect job, waiting for the government to fix things, waiting for the economy to get better, waiting for someone to notice your worth. Time is slipping away, and every day spent waiting is a day lost. Urgency is the fuel of the self-reliant. They move even when they don't feel ready. They act even when the conditions aren't perfect. They trust themselves enough to take the first step, and the second, and the third. even when the path ahead is still blurry. You will face doubt. You will have moments when you question everything. You will encounter obstacles that seem immovable. But in those moments, remember this: no one is coming to save you, but you are enough. You are strong enough to figure it out. You are resilient enough to survive the setbacks. You are creative enough to find new ways forward. Every difficulty you face is an invitation to deepen your self-reliance, to sharpen your abilities, to strengthen your soul. The clock is ticking. The world isn't slowing down to wait for you to feel ready. The urgency of self-reliance is real. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. You must decide today to become the kind of person who can rely on themselves, who can build a life not based on what they are given, but on what they create. Your future depends on it. One of the greatest dangers we face today is placing our trust in false support systems. These are the illusions that make us feel safe, that make us feel secure, but underneath they are hollow. They are promises built on sand, and if we are not careful, if we lean too heavily on them, we risk everything collapsing when we need them most. It's human nature to want to feel supported. It's normal to want to believe there's a net ready to catch us if we fall, but not every net is real. Not every hand extended toward you is strong enough to lift you when times get rough. False support systems lure us into a dangerous place of complacency. They trick us into thinking we don't have to act urgently, that someone else will figure it out for us, that someone else will carry the weight we are meant to carry ourselves. Think about it for a moment. How many people today are trusting in things that cannot truly sustain them? Some trust in job security, believing that as long as they have a paycheck every 2 weeks, they're fine. They build their lives around a company that sees them as just another number, just another cog in the machine, replaceable and disposable, and yet they live as though that company's loyalty is guaranteed. They plan their futures on promises that can vanish with a single economic downturn, a merger, a new boss with a different agenda. When the foundation cracks, they stand there stunned, wondering how it all fell apart so fast. Others trust the government to take care of them. They believe that somehow, someway, the system will protect them from hardship, that if things get bad enough, there will be a safety net woven tight enough to catch them. But if you look closely, you'll see that those nets are already fraying. Promises made decades ago are being broken now, and more will be broken in the future. Systems that once seemed unshakable are burdened, strained, and vulnerable. Yet many people close their eyes to this reality because the illusion of protection feels better than the hard truth that they may have to stand on their own. Some people trust in relationships in ways that aren't healthy. They expect a partner, a friend, a mentor to carry the emotional and financial load for them. They believe that someone else's strength will always be enough to pull them through, and when that person inevitably stumbles, because we are all human and all imperfect, their world shatters. They realize too late that they had put all their hope into someone else's hands instead of building the strength within themselves. It's a heavy burden to expect others to be your savior. It's unfair to them, and it's dangerous for you. Even worse are the false support systems we create inside ourselves, the comforting lies we tell to avoid facing the real work we need to do. I'll start tomorrow. It's not that bad yet. Something will come along and save me. These thoughts feel safe in the short term, but they are traps. They are the soft whispers that keep you stuck, that delay your growth, that waste your precious time. They offer comfort at the expense of progress. They feel like support, but they are the opposite. The reason false support systems are so dangerous is that they prevent us from building real strength. As long as we believe someone or something else will do the work for us, we don't develop the muscles we need to lift our own burdens. As long as we believe there's an easy way out, we don't learn how to endure hardship. As long as we trust in hollow promises, we won't seek out the solid ground we need to build a meaningful life. False support systems rob us of the urgency we should feel. They dull our instincts, they weaken our will, and when the inevitable storms come, we find ourselves exposed, unprepared, and deeply vulnerable. But if you can see through the illusion, if you can recognize what is false and what is real, you can begin to build something that lasts. You can begin to rely on the strength that comes from within, the kind that no one can take away from you. You can create true security, not the kind based on external circumstances, but the kind built on your character, your skills, your resilience, your unwavering commitment to growth. You can trust yourself to survive, even to thrive, no matter what happens around you. The truth is, there's nothing wrong with accepting help when it's genuine and when it's healthy. We are wired for connection, and we need each other. But there's a big difference between mutual support and dependency. There's a big difference between standing shoulder to shoulder with someone and leaning your entire weight on them. Healthy support lifts both people higher. False support leaves you weaker, more dependent, and less prepared for the challenges of life. Every single day we are given a choice. We can choose to invest our trust, our time, our energy into illusions that make us feel good for a moment, but leave us empty when it matters. Or we can choose to do the hard work of building true foundations. It's not glamorous work. It's not flashy. It doesn't come with instant rewards, but it is real, it is lasting. And when you need it most, it will hold. False support systems are everywhere. They are marketed to you. They are sold to you. They are whispered to you by people who want you dependent, compliant, easy to control. They promise you ease, but they deliver fragility. And the sooner you see through them, the sooner you free yourself from the lies that keep you small. Life is too short to build on shaky ground. Your dreams are too important to risk on promises that were never meant to be kept. Your future demands real foundations. It demands strength that doesn't waver when the winds blow. It demands that you look honestly at where you are placing your trust and ask yourself, will this still be standing when the storm comes? There's a certain kind of strength that can only be built in isolation. It's the kind of strength no one claps for, no one sees, and no one immediately rewards. It's built in quiet rooms, behind closed doors, when the world seems to have forgotten about you. It's built when you're sitting alone with your thoughts, wrestling with your doubts, choosing not to give up even when no one would blame you if you did. In a world that glorifies constant noise, validation, and attention, there's something incredibly powerful about learning how to thrive when the spotlight is gone, when the cheering has stopped, when it's just you, your work, and your will to continue. Isolation has a bad reputation. People treat it like something to be avoided at all costs, like it's a punishment, and yes, prolonged loneliness can be damaging. But chosen isolation, the kind you walk into willingly because you know you have work to do on yourself, that kind of isolation is sacred. That's the training ground. That's where real transformation happens. It strips away all the distractions, all the false affirmations, and forces you to confront who you are at your core. When you sit with yourself long enough, you can't hide. You see your fears, your flaws, your unfinished business. But you also start to see your potential. You see the embers of strength that, if tended to, can grow into an unstoppable fire. It's easy to feel strong when you're surrounded by applause. It's easy to feel confident when people are constantly affirming you. But what happens when the noise stops? What happens when the people you counted on are no longer there to lift you up? If your strength is only sustained by outside energy, it's fragile. True strength, the kind that lasts, is built when no one is watching. It's forged when you have to be your own source of motivation, when you have to pick yourself up off the floor without a hand reaching down to help you, when you have to keep believing even when no one else believes anymore. There's a certain kind of clarity that comes from isolation. When you're alone, the voices of the world start to fade. The opinions, the expectations, the pressures, they get quieter. And in that silence, you have a chance to hear something far more important, your own voice. You start to remember what you actually want, not what you've been told to want. You start to recognize your true values, not the ones you adopted to fit in. Isolation gives you the gift of self-awareness, and self-awareness is the foundation of all lasting strength. Strength in isolation also teaches you patience. Growth isn't always quick or dramatic. Most of the time, it's slow, almost invisible. It's the daily decision to show up, to put in the work, even when there are no immediate rewards. It's the humility to embrace small, incremental progress. It's the understanding that the roots must grow deep before the tree can reach high. In isolation, you learn that just because you can't see the results yet doesn't mean you're not growing. You are. Every disciplined day, every honest reflection, every quiet act of perseverance is a brick in the foundation of your future. It's during those isolated seasons that you also learn resourcefulness. When there's no one immediately available to lean on, you learn how to figure things out. You become your own coach, your own strategist, your own biggest supporter. You tap into levels of creativity and resilience you didn't even know you had. You start finding solutions instead of waiting for someone else to solve your problems. You start to trust your own judgment, and that trust becomes a powerful force because it's earned, not given. People often think that isolation makes you weaker, but the truth is, it can make you bulletproof. Because once you know you can survive your own company, once you know you can face your own shadows and still choose to move forward, what is there left to fear? Once you know you can rebuild yourself without applause, without validation, without constant encouragement, you become unstoppable. External circumstances lose their grip on you. Opinions lose their power over you. You no longer crumble when support disappears because you've learned how to support yourself. Strength in isolation also deepens your appreciation for connection. When you do reemerge, when you do rebuild and step back into the world, you value relationships not from a place of neediness, but from a place of abundance. You are not looking for someone to complete you or rescue you. You are looking to share your strength, to build something greater together. And that kind of connection where two whole people meet is powerful. It's rare. It's real. There will be times when isolation feels unbearable. When you question whether it's worth it, when the loneliness gnaws at you and you wonder if maybe it would be easier to just give up, to go back to the comfortable noise, to seek easy validation. But if you can hold on, if you can endure that discomfort, something extraordinary happens. You emerge sharper, stronger, more focused. You emerge with a sense of self that no one can take away from you. You become the kind of person who doesn't just survive the storms of life, you grow through them. Most people will never experience this kind of strength because they're too afraid of what they might find in the silence. They're too attached to the noise, to the approval, to the busyness that keeps them from facing themselves. But those who are willing to walk into the quiet, to do the hard internal work, to forge their strength in the unseen hours, they are the ones who build lives that can endure anything. They are the ones who lead, who create, who transform the world around them. Isolation is not a curse. It is not a punishment. It is an opportunity, one of the greatest opportunities you will ever be given. It is the place where you meet your truest self. It is the place where you remember that your greatest strength was never outside of you. It was always within you, waiting to be uncovered, tested, and proven by the fire of solitude. There comes a moment in every person's life when they are faced with a choice that defines everything that comes after. It's not a loud moment. It's not something anyone else will notice. It's private. It's quiet. It's the moment when you have to decide whether you will keep pretending, keep living according to someone else's script, or whether you will answer the call to authenticity. Deep down, you already know the truth. You can feel the tug inside you, pulling you toward who you really are, not the version of yourself you've shown the world to gain approval, not the carefully polished mask you've worn to fit in, but the real, raw, unfiltered you. And answering that call isn't easy. It might be the hardest thing you ever do, but it is the only path that leads to real freedom. We live in a world obsessed with appearances. We are constantly bombarded with messages telling us who we should be, what we should want, how we should act. From the time we are children, we learn to conform. We learn that certain parts of us are acceptable and others are not, so we hide. We shrink, we perform, we build entire identities around what will make us most liked, most successful, most admired. And at first, it might even work. It might get us the approval we crave. It might open doors. It might make life seem easier, but over time, the weight of pretending becomes unbearable, because no matter how convincing the act, deep down you know it's not really you. And you can only carry that burden for so long before it starts to crush you. The call to authenticity is the call to stop running from yourself. It's the call to stop seeking permission to be who you are. It's the call to step away from the safety of imitation and to walk into the unknown territory of your true self. And it's terrifying because authenticity demands vulnerability. It demands that you risk being misunderstood. It demands that you risk losing the approval of people who only loved the version of you that wasn't real. But it also offers you something far greater in return. It offers you a life that is rooted in truth, a life where you don't have to perform, where you don't have to constantly edit yourself to fit the expectations of others. It offers you peace. It offers you power. Authenticity isn't about being reckless. It's not about blurting out every thought that crosses your mind or refusing to grow. It's about being honest about who you are and what you believe, even when it costs you. It's about aligning your actions with your values. It's about refusing to trade your soul for acceptance. It's about understanding that not everyone will like the real you and learning to be okay with that. Because the people who are meant to be in your life, the people who truly love you, don't want the performance. They want the real thing. They want the real you. And if someone only values you for the mask you wear, you lose nothing when you lose their approval. Answering the call to authenticity means asking yourself hard questions. It means sitting with the discomfort of realizing how much of your life might have been shaped by fear rather than truth. It means recognizing the ways you have betrayed yourself in the name of fitting in. It means forgiving yourself for those moments, because we all have them, and choosing a different path forward. It means committing to growth, not for the sake of being accepted, but for the sake of becoming who you were always meant to be. You have gifts that no one else has. You have a voice that is unique to you. When you live authentically, you give those gifts to the world in a way that no imitation ever could. You might not be for everyone, and that's exactly the point. You're not supposed to be for everyone. You are supposed to be who you are, fully and unapologetically, so that you can find the people, the work, the life that aligns with your true self. Every time you choose authenticity over approval, you strengthen your foundation. Every time you speak your truth instead of telling people what they want to hear, you reclaim a piece of your soul. The world doesn't need more copies. It doesn't need more people trying to fit into molds that were never made for them. It needs more realness. It needs more people who are brave enough to be honest, even when it's uncomfortable. It needs people who are willing to stand in their truth, even when it's unpopular. It needs people who are willing to say, "This is who I am." Not with arrogance, but with quiet, unshakable confidence, because when you live authentically, you give other people permission to do the same. Your courage becomes a light that helps others find their way out of the darkness of conformity. There will be moments when authenticity feels like loneliness. There will be moments when you question whether it's worth it. There will be moments when it would be so much easier to just go back to pretending. But every time you stay true to yourself, you carve a path through the wilderness. Every time you refuse to shrink to make others comfortable, you expand your life in ways that imitation never could. Authenticity doesn't guarantee an easy life, but it guarantees a real one. And a real life, a life where you are fully present, fully yourself, fully alive, is worth every risk. You don't have to be perfect to be authentic. You don't have to have it all figured out. Authenticity is not about having all the answers. It's about showing up with honesty, with integrity, with heart. It's about being willing to grow without losing yourself. It's about being open without being performative. It's about walking through the world with the quiet confidence of someone who knows who they are and who refuses to apologize for it. Answering the call to authenticity is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's the 1,000 small choices you make every day to honor your truth instead of abandoning it. It's the way you carry yourself when no one is watching. It's the standards you hold yourself to when it would be easier to lower them. It's the voice inside you that says, "Keep going," even when the road feels lonely. Authenticity is not easy, but it is always worth it. There is a quiet danger that slips into your life when things start to get comfortable. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come in with flashing lights and alarms. It sneaks in, soft and easy, disguised as contentment. It's called complacency, and if you're not careful, it will steal everything you worked so hard to build. It will take your ambition, your discipline, your edge, and slowly replace it with excuses, with laziness, with a slow acceptance of good enough. Complacency is a silent killer of dreams because it convinces you that the work is over when, in truth, the work has only just begun. When you reach a goal, when you achieve something you once thought was impossible, there's a natural temptation to relax. You tell yourself, I've made it, I deserve a break. And maybe you do deserve a moment to breathe, to appreciate how far you've come. But a moment is all you get, because if you linger too long, that rest will turn into decay. What was once a fire inside, you will start to cool. The hunger that pushed you to work late nights, to stretch beyond your limits, will start to fade. You'll start believing that yesterday's success is enough for tomorrow's challenges, and that's where you lose. That's where you start sliding backward without even realizing it. Complacency is so dangerous because it doesn't feel bad. It feels comfortable, it feels safe, it tells you that you've earned the right to take it easy. It feeds you the lie that growth is optional now, that you've already proven yourself. But the truth is, the minute you think you've arrived is the minute you start declining. Life doesn't freeze just because you hit a milestone. The world keeps moving, the competition keeps grinding, new challenges keep rising, and if you're standing still, you're not really standing still, you're falling behind. There is no such thing as maintaining success without effort. Every day you're either getting better or you're getting worse. There is no neutral. Champions know this. The best in the world, in sports, in business, in art, in life, they don't stop working just because they won once. They understand that winning creates a bigger target on their backs. They know that yesterday's victory doesn't guarantee anything tomorrow, so they stay hungry, they stay humble, they show up every day with the mindset of a beginner, the hunger of someone who still has everything to prove. Complacency tricks you into believing that the habits and mindsets that got you here aren't necessary anymore. It whispers that you don't have to push yourself as hard, that you can cut corners, that you can coast on your reputation. But the habits that built your success are the same habits required to sustain it. The minute you abandon them, you start building a new set of habits, habits of laziness, of entitlement, of mediocrity. And those habits are just as powerful. They will shape you just as much, but they will shape you into someone far less than you are capable of being. You have to fight complacency with urgency. You have to wake up every day with a sense that your best work is still ahead of you, not behind you. You have to understand that success is rented, not owned, and rent is due every single day. Yesterday's accomplishments are yesterday's news. They don't entitle you to anything today. You have to earn it again. You have to show up again. You have to grind again, not because you're not grateful for what you've achieved, but because you respect it enough to honor it with continued effort. One of the greatest dangers of complacency is that it numbs your ambition. When you settle, your dreams start to shrink. You stop aiming higher because you've convinced yourself that what you have is good enough. But good enough is a poison. It sounds harmless. It sounds reasonable. But it eats away at your potential one small compromise at a time. Before you know it, you wake up one day and realize you're a shadow of who you could have been, not because you failed dramatically, but because you settled quietly. The saddest part is, complacency doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone who depends on you, your family, your team, your community. When you choose to coast, you rob them of the best version of you. You rob them of the leader, the creator, the fighter you were meant to be. You weren't given your talents, your skills, your opportunities just to coast through life comfortably. You were given them to build something, to grow, to stretch, to inspire others by the way you show up and give your all every single day. It's not wrong to celebrate your achievements. You should. You've earned that. But let the celebration be fuel, not an excuse to stop. Let it remind you of what's possible when you stay hungry. Let it be a reminder that you are capable of even more. Success should not make you comfortable. It should make you ambitious. It should make you ask, if I could do that, what else am I capable of? That mindset is what separates the truly great from everyone else. That's what keeps your fire burning even after others have settled. Every day you have a choice. You can wake up and feed the fire inside you, or you can let it die a little more. You can choose the easy path of comfort, or you can choose the harder path of continued growth. One path leads to mediocrity, the other leads to greatness, and the decision isn't made once. It's made daily in the small, often invisible moments when no one else is watching. It's made when you choose to stay late and do the extra work. It's made when you choose to push yourself even when you could coast. It's made when you remember that the fight isn't over just because you've won a few battles. The warning against complacency is a warning born of respect for your own potential, respect for the sacrifices it took to get you here, respect for the life you still have left to live. Never let comfort become your cage. Never let past success become the ceiling you stop reaching beyond. Stay hungry, stay focused, stay relentless, because the best you have to give the world is not behind you. It's still ahead, waiting for you to chase it down.